up, everybody? Welcome to episode 965 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by the nation's premier football correspondent, Shane Sparks. You used to, I remember, and this is going to take you back, when you did wrestling broadcast and commentary. That was kind of a while ago, before, you know, the glitz and glamour of the gridiron stole Shane Sparks from wrestling. It's sad. But you know what? We're glad you can come back. So on this show, we talk about like wrestling and like the worlds and NCAA wrestling. I know this is going to be unfamiliar, but Shane, we do welcome you back.
It is great to see you guys. First things first, JD, I was hoping for the button-up shirt, a little bit of chest hair, but that's okay. You still look good. The mustache is phenomenal. The hair looks good. And CP, good to see you a couple of weeks ago at a college football game in Houston. Sent you the text message. Lo and behold, you and the family are there. That was great to see you. Houston, great city, and I know that's a happy place to be today.
It's a happy place to be today. Yeah, I guess I never told this story on the show or to really anyone, but we went to an Astros game, and I get a text from Shane Sparks from the Astros game. And we were both there coincidentally the same day. So now listen, but here's the difference. Here's the difference between Shane and I. You know me, blue collar. You know, I got a family. I'm taking them to the ballpark.
In the box?
You know what? We're a little higher up. Well, very high up. Let's just be honest. I go down there, club seats. You know, he's like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Baker, the manager. He's like basically at the dugout, hanging out. He's with his other broadcaster friends.
He's banging trash cans.
These are the circles that Shane Sparks walks in versus me. But, you know, it was good to see Shane. And once we got through his security, I was able to greet him formally. It was a great time.
Christian, I'm with you. Trust me. I mean, I was just lucky. I was with Mark Neely, who was the play-by-play voice of the Padres for a while. He knew the guys at the Astros and the Royals, so that's where, I mean, I was just right time, right place. Otherwise, I'm with you because let's be honest, and it is what it is. If you know, you got to pay to play, but to take a family to a baseball game, I mean, my guess is you probably dropped a few hundred. I mean, it is not cheap. So I would have been exactly where you are had I been with the fam. Trust me. We're
well,
what it is.
Well, we were happy to see you there, and we're happy to have you back and talk some wrestling. A couple things have happened. Last time you were on, we hadn't had a World Championships. You know, AJ Ferrari's situation didn't have any clarity. The Atlanta Braves were the number one team in all of baseball and shoo-ins to make the World Series.
Are they not the number one team
Never.
anymore?
Never a shoe-in. Never a shoe-in, Christian. Never a shoe-in. The pitching staff,
now
a couple of guys are hurt. Nobody's going to feel sorry. They're not excuses. Circumstances of the day. They're not there. We'll see. They better show up tonight or at this time tomorrow. Season's going to be over.
Yeah, plenty of time to reflect for the Atlanta faithful. But I want to get some of your thoughts on the Worlds. Did you watch any exciting moments that stuck out for you?
I'm sure you guys have talked about this plenty. I've heard you guys talk about it because I watch the show pretty frequently. What Vito has done and what he looks like right now is like, I just don't recall guys that get that much better when they're already really good. Like, I mean, we joke about this in the past. Nobody should be shocked. You know, we joke about the word shock on this show. That was borderline shocking to me how he's that good. I mean, his combination of speed, technique, footwork, and just flat-out feel. I mean, he looks like a video game. Vito Arujau looks like Lawrence Taylor in Tecmo Super Bowl. You can't stop him. I mean, that's what he reminds me of. So that stood out to me. And David Taylor, pound for pound, best in the world. Again, what he's been able to do, his career, spectacular. All in all, for the United States, they win it again. I mean, it's the golden era of USA Wrestling. But, I mean, first and foremost, how Vito looks. I mean, man. I mean, guys, think about it. A year ago at this time, is it safe to say that the thought of Vito winning a world title was probably on very few people's radar? Most people wouldn't have had him to pick the NCAAs. Accurate? I mean, as good as he is.
Totally accurate.
It's incredible what he's been able to do.
This time last year, we're coming off of let's think, and maybe the timing's not exactly right, but he gets blitzed twice at Final X by Gilman. He's on the U23 World Team. He goes 0-1 at U23s, right?
The difference for Vito is...
Well, let me before we get into that.
That is
he
correct.
went 0-1 at U23s. He's entering a weight class with Roman Bravo Young, the reigning 2-time champion, and Dayton Fix. We're probably saying, I'm certainly saying, yeah, he's probably around third here at this NCAA weight class.
Yep.
Runs through that, runs through the Open, runs through the Worlds. You're exactly right, Shane. A year ago today, we are not saying this kind of stuff. And the number one thing we're probably going to point to is the weight class.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, he just obliterated guys.
Yeah.
Obliterated guys. And, of course, Stevan Micic, the run he had, too, was pretty amazing. I mean, talk about showing up and getting it done. He did.
That one's even more crazy to me because he did it down at 57, where we had seen him. Now, he had won a world medal previously, but to harp on world some more, it was truly incredible, all the guys he beat.
His path was nuts. It was truly tough. Those were two of the biggest standout performances, Stevan and Vito. Ben, anything come to mind for you?
Me? Nah. We already talked about Worlds so many times. But I was the one talking about Vito. I was thinking about, like, that's probably why we shouldn't cut that much weight.
Yeah.
Right? Goes up, feels better, can just focus on wrestling, not weight cutting, and just changes quickly.
How much have you seen, Ben, you've been coaching high school for a while now. The club, 10 years or so. How much have you seen the culture around weight cutting shift? Not for you, because it's been pretty similar, but for the country. It's obviously still there, still present.
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of kids cutting a lot of weight, and I think there's still a lot of old school coaches.
Okay.
That would be my guess and my take on overall. Does it went down? I would hope a little bit. I mean, at the college level, I think 100% for sure. I think college level's figured it out. It's really hard to cut a lot of weight and be effective, and probably only in situations where they're forced to be in certain places because of the lineup is that happening.
Do you think the weight cutting mentality in high school gets reinforced because the kids that are willing to cut a lot of weight are not, they can still take the mat and they beat so many guys anyways that they're like, well, it didn't really affect me that negatively. Whereas the margins in NCAA wrestling are so much more narrow. A bad cut is going to be the difference between you maybe majoring someone and getting smoked by someone you should beat. Yeah,
that's 100%. I mean, Vito is like, he is the biggest case in point because if you just look at his Patrick Glory series from 2022. Yeah, right? It's like, dude, he tech fouled him when he was feeling good. He tech fouled him.
Yep.
Right, because he was at the end of the day, didn't have to weigh in the next day, and he just mauled him. And then you put him in a different situation, and he loses both matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Yeah, high school weight cutting to me, guys, probably the biggest rant I'd ever go on. I mean, it's the biggest regret I ever had. I only did it for I really did it for one season in high school. But the reality is, and I hate to say this, I mean, this bothers me 30 years later. Why did I do it? Because I was looking for an easier path, and it pisses me off that I thought like that. It still ticks me off because it's not the right mentality. I went in every day worried about cutting weight. I was miserable. I was a senior in high school. I was miserable. I was hating life. I was counting down the days for the season to be over. I mean, I would never do that again. Don't do it. Become a better wrestler. You want to enjoy the sport. It's high school wrestling. I mean, don't cut weight. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's stupid.
Mike Mal had a really good, I mean, it's like, it was a light bulb moment for me, even though I've heard like a similar thing for so many years. There's a kid, an outlaw kid that was cutting a bunch of weight in high school. And I was like, man, why is he doing that? He's like, he's just lazy. And I was like, man, you don't think about being lazy cutting weight. But it's like, you could just as well, you cut weight so you have some sort of like fake or real strength advantage, right? Perception is like, why don't you just build your strength? Just get stronger. Instead of getting stronger, you're just going to starve yourself because that's actually maybe easier. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. Cutting weight is actually kind of lazy.
That is a really interesting perspective. I've never thought that, but I think you can make that debate. I mean, that's a really good point. I think that's a good one, man.
We say all this, but then at the same time, if done properly, not at the high school level maybe, but like it can give you an advantage. Like Stevan, undeniably has an advantage at 57 when he cuts his weight right, versus like
he's a pro athlete.
Yes,
yeah, he's a pro, and the obvious difference for me, JD, is a high school kid's going to weigh in somewhere between 20 and 30 times a year, and
Stephana said
20 times in a 4-month window. And these senior level guys, number one, they are adults, and then number two, they're going to weigh in 3 to 5 times a year tops.
100%.
Yes.
Big difference.
That is a big difference for sure. And just one last factor is like high school kids are still growing. Even the seniors you're still growing. So you're literally fighting everything your body is trying to do in the name of. And also, there's 14 freaking weight classes. It should not have to happen as much.
And they're dumb.
Some states are different. Yeah, I actually had to move. We have a dual tournament this weekend, and I had to move like 4 kids up because they did the thing where they're like, they thought they were a certain size, and they're all just growing. And so it's like, okay, move you up. Not a big deal.
The other big thing, guys, it does, I mean, at least, again, speaking for myself, but I think it's probably a lot of people would agree on this. I think the biggest thing is winning masks deficiencies. So at least at the high school level, you're cutting weight. And for me, I mean, I was cutting down to 103. I was a senior. I'm stronger than these guys.
What? You were that small, Shane?
Yeah, because when I was the other side of it,
senior?
guys. Yeah, because I was 81 as a freshman. So at those times, I was 81 as a freshman. I was wrestling varsity 103. I'd have to drink 7-8 pounds of water to make the minimum. They had a minimum weight. So I drink 7-8 pounds of water as a freshman. As a sophomore, I weighed about 90. I weighed 100 as a junior. That was great. And I should have wrestled, 112 at that time as a senior. But I'm beating all these kids. I'm feeling good about myself. And it just was a false sense of reality. Like, it's like you're not getting better at wrestling. I would never do it again. It's my only regret. It's the only regret I have in wrestling is that, and then a bad warm-up. I just didn't have real coaching, to be honest with you. And I just didn't understand the importance of a warm-up and how to do it. I mean, I'm warming up like 2 hours in advance. Like, it was like I was exhausted by the time it was time to go. But yeah, weight cutting, man, that is never do it again. I would. That's why. I mean, I don't know if there will ever be any legs behind this, but that mat side weigh-in, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see mat side weigh-ins. I think that might take some getting used to, but I think it'd be really good.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think it'd be awesome.
Tournament directors would push back, but
yeah, of course they would.
Oh, yeah.
Slows down. We can't get out of here as fast. It's all about their convenience.
well, no, it's just
No, for sure it is. That's all it is. It's all about how we run the tournament. It'll slow things down too much. We'll be here. Yep. What if someone makes his weight at the thing? Easy problems to solve that tournament directors and the people that aren't actually impacted by the decision would say to slow it down, for sure. It's all about their convenience. Okay, while we're on the veto topic and weight cutting, etc., from AZ Wrestling Fan, I haven't heard a good reason why Vito shouldn't go 65. Because of Yanni, does that mean he can never go 65? At some point he'll have to. Why not now? He has the frame for it. No, he doesn't. Do we want him to be like DT, who should have gone up a few years earlier?
I mean, it brings up a relevant point, I would say. Can he grow into that? Yes. Is he going to grow into it by next year? And the answer to that is, I think, no. And then, him and Yanni are besties, so the notion of them competing in the same weight class, I don't know if that's going to fly. But yeah, I think he could eventually grow into that, and I think he is always, there'll probably never be a time when 125 is easy for him.
No, I agree. I know maybe it sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I don't think he's any bigger than Stevan probably is and other 57s. He's bigger than some of the 57s, obviously.
Stevan, what was wild in the World Finals? Stevan looked bigger than
significantly.
Higuchi, who had wrestled at 61 the prior year. That was crazy.
Higuchi's been very open about his
gigantic.
struggles. He missed weight once.
He literally missed it and didn't get to go to the Olympics because of it. He's very big, and yes, Stevan was bigger. I think the question here is how much of it is weight cut, and I think a good percentage of Vito's success is that he's not cutting weight, but I mean, he gives so much credit to it, like just a newfound mentality that, we'll maybe find out around trials how much that has impacted him, because that can make a big difference as well. So we'll see. I think it's totally unreasonable for him to go. I think he would be massively undersized at 65.
Next year.
next year, and probably for good. I mean, he's got to be close to fully grown.
But don't you think he could put some muscle on? I mean, look what David did. Look how skinny he was.
Yeah,
His transformation is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if you watch his,
And he made a much bigger jump from 74 to 86.
Yeah, because he was a full-grown adult too. He was 165 as a senior in college.
Yeah, he is 24. Vito is 24.
and David will cut from low 200s the night before. He'll drop like, if you watch his YouTube video he recently put out about his leading up to the World Championships, he was like 205, 210.
Wow.
The night before.
Really? That big?
The night before?
Yes.
What?
I don't know.
But is he doing the thing where he drinks
like-
a gallon of water and gets a little, like, what's his normal everyday weight?
That, I don't know, he didn't say, but he was above 200 pounds the night before.
Wow.
He's like, and then, yeah, he did, you know, the whole tub thing, sweat it out. He's like, I'll wake up, whatever, like 4 over, 5 over, get a workout in the morning, get it off right before weigh-ins, like nothing.
How does the tub thing work? I've heard about this
It
tub.
just makes you hot and you sweat.
You just get in a hot tub and you sweat.
Well, yeah, you put hot water in a tub.
He was actually in a cold
it's
tub.
Uber lazy way, and there's certain guys who want to do it for like their whole weight cut, and I think you do not feel good afterwards. Not good. Like they'll sit there for a really long time. I've done it like at the very end for the last pound or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Haven't you ever been in like a really hot bathtub and you feel perspiration on your forehead?
Of course,
Your whole
yeah.
body's sweating. Yeah, so
Yeah,
your
I
whole
know.
body's sweating. Same thing.
Whoa.
Why is that better than like a sauna?
I think well, obviously water is hotter because it's like it's all around you, you know. I don't know why people prefer it to a sauna though. I think it's very similar. I don't know what other people's opinions would be on that topic.
Okay, JD just dropped a whoa.
Yeah, breaking news from the IOC. IOC Executive Board suspends Russian Olympic Committee with immediate effect.
What now? What is the why is that happening now? Is that war related?
Article.
Interesting.
Oh my goodness, crazy, dude! Do you guys want to know? How, not to get us totally off topic. The UFC, I filmed a show with Daniel Cormier on Tuesday, and since Tuesday, they freaking main event changed, co-main event changed, and they kicked out USADA. All the last we're talking 36 hours.
What
crazy.
I want to hear Shane and Ben's thoughts on the USADA thing.
Well, I'm curious because one of the things that makes me think that they're actually going to do legitimate testing is if they were not going to do legitimate testing after January 1st of 2024, McGregor would have just waited to get in the pool till January 1st of 2024, right? And then he would have moved. You know, he would have been able to do whatever he wants because they're not doing legitimate testing. McGregor's actually in the pool. So from now, October 12th until December 31st, he can and probably will be tested by USADA. So if he is not clean, he'll likely be caught. So it's like, why, right? If he wasn't clean, why would he have gotten in the pool now? Why wouldn't he have waited till January 1st? So maybe the UFC is wanting to do more things on their own. They've been kind of moving in that direction where they're doing more and more things on their own and not relying on outside entities. I'm guessing that'll be the case. So how strict will they be and how lenient will they be to their superstars? That does make me a little nervous, of course, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, anytime you put it in the hands of the business, you leave some room for shenanigans for sure. It's like, really, are you gonna pull a John Jones, a Conor McGregor, a Khabib, or whatever before a main event if they test positive? It's such a conflict of interest. So they have to. It seems like there has to be an outside entity involved that is free from UFC, temptation. Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, but I mean, just simply, I just would agree with what you guys said. I mean, it's, when you keep it in-house, how transparent is it going to be? How above board is it going to be? And I don't think anybody would argue there's probably just a little bit more meat on the bone for corruption. So I will say this, that UFC card is going to be off the chain. That'll be good.
Who is it now?
It's all different now. It's all different.
I think it got better, Ben. Would you agree, Ben? It got better.
I don't know about it got better. I was very excited about the fight that was already happening. So it was going to be Oliveira versus Islam in the main event, and then the co-main event was going to be Costa versus Chimaev. So first, it was actually hilarious. We did the show, me and Dan did the show, and Costa had surgery on his elbow right here, and he had posted an updated picture, and it was like, that dude's got staph. Like, it looks freaking nasty. And then sure enough, like later that day, he's like, yeah, I got staph in my elbow, and they need to have surgery again.
And it's always something with him, right, Ben?
Crazy.
I mean, it's always something weird with him.
Yes, it's always something weird with him. And then Oliveira suffered a cut, which I don't know why he's sparring this close to his fight, but he suffered a cut, a big nasty gash up here, and pulled out. So this one's actually pretty cool, although, so Volkanovski was the champ at 45, bumped up to fight Islam at 55 for like the number 1 pound for pound fighter, and it was a very, very competitive fight. So he has stepped in to fight Islam at 155.
Cool.
So it should be interesting. Yeah.
And Marty.
And yeah. Oh, yeah. And I didn't say who the replacement there. Marty is the replacement at 185. Hey, you called him Marty. He's gonna be mad at you, bro.
Nah, that's cool.
That's what
How do you see that one going, Ben? With Usman?
I was just thinking we haven't seen Usman in a minute. It's been. I'm gonna look up. It's been a while since he's fought.
Is that the main event? Usman versus Chimaev?
No, that's the co-main.
No.
Co-main.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. So Usman has lost. He's lost 2 in a row, both to Leon Edwards. And his last one, it was the NCAA finals night. So that's what, 7 months ago, March of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wins it?
Should be good fights though. I gotta say Chimaev, I would think, but
You would think.
I definitely.
Coward.
Yeah,
Usman.
I could definitely see either guy winning.
I will say, wrestling.
That's a
or
Nebraska
wrestling,
guy. You
fighting-
gotta pick him.
I know. I'm picking him, but fighting in Abu Dhabi, you might want to get it done before it goes to decision.
Shenanigans. We see plenty of bad calls in America as well.
Oh my God, so much bad judging.
Yeah.
Just Islam and Chimaev, they're going to have the undeniable advantage if it goes to decision.
We'll see.
Oh, I would think so. Yes.
Okay. All right. It's already 8:54.
I know. We better get to these damn tiers.
Well, maybe we don't do them.
Tears.
Maybe we don't. Do
What?
them.
Christian Piles, we're doing tiers.
I'm sorry. I'm a little sluggish. Last night I saw there was an Eagles and Journey and Tears for Fears concert in Austin. So I'm still
Stop.
recovering
You
a little
stop
bit.
right now.
No, yeah.
Stop.
Look at it.
You're
I
just
saw-
trying to get Shane Sparks riled up.
Oh man, Tears for
No,
Fears.
no, Shane,
Guys,
don't
guys,
stop. Stop.
I will tell you this.
Shane.
I got to tell you this real quick, guys. I checked off probably my top band. Of all my bucket list bands, I can't believe I didn't tell you guys this. I finally checked off number 1.
Britney Spears?
Foreigner.
I went and saw Pearl Jam,
Oh yes.
and it was magical. Eddie Vedder was it was one saw him in Chicago. That must have been about mid-September. So yeah, I mean, I've seen Lionel Richie, I've seen Journey, I've seen Toto, I don't know who I'd have. I don't know who the number 1 band. I would say number 1 right now would probably be Steve Winwood. Probably Steve Winwood, but these guys are getting up there. But yeah, I went and saw Pearl Jam, and it was awesome. But yeah, if you could see Air Supply, my brother's seen Air Supply, but Tears for Fears, he's seen them a couple times, and they are fantastic, really good.
Fantastic. Well, good. Glad. I would like to see Pearl Jam. That is actually.
Eddie Vedder is
who's
so
playing
good.
at the what's the thing in Vegas everyone's all juiced up about? What the hell?
Dome?
Yeah, what's that thing
U2.
called?
The Sphere. The Sphere.
The Sphere.
U2's been there, I think.
Yeah,
they were
I
the
saw
first
something
one.
on social media with Bono singing a couple nights ago.
U2's great.
I saw U2 in about 2000, actually 1999, I think. No, it was 2000. Saw him down at the old Bradley Center, Ben, in Milwaukee.
Uh-oh. Tore that thing down.
Yeah,
wow.
no longer.
R.I.P. to the Bradley Center. Austin Gomez is back. Maybe,
Potentially.
potentially needs another year. Probably Michigan.
We all saw that coming, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
that was obvious.
You know what we didn't talk
Yeah.
about when we talked about this earlier or last week? The Pan Am Games or Pan Am Olympic qualifier, which he will need to go to qualify for the Olympics, is a week before Big Tens.
Perfect.
Well, I
Yeah.
thought it was the same exact weekend. Actually, I didn't think about that, but I actually thought it was the same weekend.
So that's going to throw a little wrench into things.
Yeah.
I thought
And
it might
it's
have
not
been the
gonna be-
weekend between the two, but it's before.
I think it's before. Let me double check that. But yeah, either way, it's not conveniently timed, and it will not, 65 will not be an easy bracket there, because obviously we still have to go. Cuba still has to qualify there, so luckily Seabass won't have to be there.
Yeah. That'll help
Kick
us.
Seabass out.
Okay. Fine. We can do some tiers. Whatever.
165, baby. Let's go.
165. David Carr, tier 1 on his own. No.
I see how you're gonna start. I see what's going on here.
Okay. I'll get it popping. I think Keegan and Carr clear tier 1 on their own. No one else
Yes.
with them. No one else is allowed in their clubhouse. And then I think I have a little hard time with this one. I feel like it's Cam, Hamady, Caliendo, but I feel like I want to slide Ramirez in there with him and keep Olejnik in tier 3. Thoughts, reflections?
Why do you want to keep Olejnik in tier 3?
Because I don't think he's as good as those other guys. I think
But like, which wins and losses? And so I know what you're gonna say, or I know why this is tough, is because Hamidi, he smashes some people, and some of those people lose to Amin, but then he can't beat Amin, So it's a really he's very stylistically where he can crush some people but can't beat others. So I think that's probably what is, because I see it as those 5 are all pretty I don't want to say similar, but they're close enough to me to put them all together. Let's see. So Olejnik beat Cook, Heller, Karchla at the NCAAs, 3 in a row there. Lost to Monday, Hamidi, Caliendo.
Yeah, and those matches weren't particularly competitive. He had a loss to Frank Almaguer. Almaguer, thank you. And he lost to Bronigal. I just haven't seen enough that says he's for sure with those guys. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I think.
Sure, we'll slide him down.
But you don't have to agree because Ramirez. But similarly, Amin lost to Bryce Hepner last year.
Yep.
I think Ramirez had some weird ones too. He got pinned by Peyton Hall. Peyton Hall's
way down there because he had a terrible end of the year. So no, I look
bad.
at I looked at WrestleStat, and I got no arguments why Olejnik should be up in the other tier with you. So I think we move him down to tier 3. But yeah, then you have a guy like Peyton Hall who he's been really good before, but he had a very poor finish to last season, which probably moves him into tier 3.
Bryce Hepner ticks in at number 18. I mentioned him. He's a guy I could see moving up substantially. He had wins over. He beat Carson Hartzell and Restloff. He beat Cam Amin during the season. He'll be their guy this year with Hartzell moving up. So I expect him to step up. I expect Peyton Hall to get it back together. I don't know what was happening at the end of the year
Seems
with
like
him.
Probably unhealthy.
Honestly, no, I mean, obviously I talked to Bracky.
He med forfeited out of the. Remember, didn't he have a staff? He med forfeited out of Big Ten, right? Because he had a relatively competitive match with David Carr, and then I think he forfeited out.
Yeah, he did forfeit out of Big 12s. Bracky was. I thought he was no, he's all right now. Maybe a little Bracky smokescreen. Is that possible? Is my friend betraying me? Is that where we're at right now? I don't know.
West Virginia's family, right? I mean, blood's thicker than water. I mean, he's into coach speak now. I mean, everything's great.
Yeah, he every time I talk to him, he's like, "Oh, we're on to Oklahoma. We're on to this. We're on to that." It's like, all right, Bracky, I get it. I asked how your son was, not when your next duel is. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. So
Speaking of that, real quick, we got to throw this in there. How about Bill Belichick this week? You talk about press conferences and coach speak. You guys watch any of that?
I did not. I'm sure he was perturbed.
It's so good. It's so good. When you get a chance, watch Belichick. The press conferences from this week after Mac Jones was brutal again.
All right, I'll check it out. Man, this weight, other than the top 2, it's not doing for me. It's not the deepest weight this year.
Not anymore. Yeah, another one I'm just looking at his record that's he always I think he has these streaks is Danny Braunagel. Like, he actually was like had a pretty good start to the year. I think it's like he's like 12-2, 14-2 or something. And then, you know, I know he has tough competition, but then by the end of the year, he lost like, I don't know, we'll say 7 out of 10 or something to that effect. You know, and some of the guys are good, but he lost to Max Mayfield, Kale Carlson, Max Mayfield again, Sparks. You know, so just like guys who are good but not great.
Right. I think there's a lot of that in this weight class, candidly. Guys can pick dudes off, but even with number 3, Cam had that. Him and
because he lost to Facundo.
And Bryce Hebner.
But was he just coming back from that match? I don't remember. Didn't he miss a bunch of time?
He missed some time because he got hurt against Facundo, right?
Big Ten apologist Shane Sparks. Let's look into it.
No, I'm a big Amin guy. I mean, I really like Cam Amin.
I want to say he got hurt. Let's see. So he forfeited out. He definitely got hurt in one of these duels because then he wrestled a little bit at the Big Tens, but then forfeited out. And then was back for NCAA. So I think it was like a minor knee injury. I feel like it was Facundo, but I'm not certain on that.
So
maybe it was Karchlar. Remember he pinned him in overtime.
Yeah, he got hurt there, but he wrestled 5 days prior, and he had beaten Hamady 5 days before he lost to Facundo. So I don't think he was injured there.
Yeah, no, that one, no, definitely not.
And he missed a couple weeks.
Yeah, Hamady's really specific. If the guy can move really well, and Amin moves really well, Hamady struggles to get in. All of Hamady's offense is off of motion and movement, and so if the other person, so Quincy Monday, Keegan, Cam Amin, these guys move well, and he struggles against them. But guys like, say, Patrick Kennedy, who doesn't move well, or a Braunagel, he always tortures them.
Tortures. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's really good. But, yeah, everyone kind of has a hole here. Coming into this year, it's so interesting with Keegan and Carr. We probably just moved on so quickly because they're both so great. But you take last year, and there's a couple different angles, because really the talk of 65 is just who wins this weight, right? How does it play out at the end? And last year, it was all Carr. Carr wins the duel. He wins at Big 12s, albeit more narrowly. And then at NCAAs, Keegan does it. So on the one hand, Carr sort of demonstrated on the whole he was maybe a little bit better than Keegan. But the final test, when it mattered most, Keegan won. So coming into this year, do you just say, okay, Keegan has figured David out as best as David can be figured out? Or will it kind of return back to what we saw for the better part of the season?
Well, I think Keegan made the adjustments necessary, and there was a few things. And then, you know, will Carr be able to make some counter adjustments in the offseason and add something to his repertoire? And to that, I say we'll see.
We will see. One thing that's interesting, it's like Keegan had this set of things, the problems he knew he had to solve. But when you're winning those matches, like David was, what adjustments are you making after win? Because you don't know the adjustments you have to make because you've been able to get your hand raised each time.
Sure. Yeah,
Is that
I mean,
disadvantage?
obviously, well, I mean, like I guess I would think he would be able to see the direction it was headed, because in the Big 12's match was a lot closer than the dual meet, right? It was significantly more competitive. So I would think like he would be able to see the direction it was headed. But yeah, I mean, there was a few things I think Keegan surprised him with in NCAA finals, and it'll be interesting to see if he can make the adjustments.
February 25th, March 10th, March 23rd. That's the duel.
Oh, baby.
Big 12's day 2, NCAA's day 3. So
3 times in a
You
month.
know what you guys haven't brought up? I can't believe we haven't brought it up. Is who is Penn State's representative at this weight going to be?
Well, I would ask you,
I
but
don't
you'd be
know
like,
the
I don't
answer.
know. I don't know. Who could it even be? I don't even know who's on the roster. Mitchell has it. Yeah, I don't know. Is
Well, I
Mitchell
think it's-
even there?
I mean,
Can you confirm if
Ben,
Mitchell's
Ben, are you aware that Mitchell transferred to Penn State? Did you know that? Or
Are you allowed to say that Mitchell lives in
who's
Pennsylvania?
This Mitchell character? Who's this Mitchell character? You guys?
Now we're talking. Mitchell. I feel like I know a Mitchell. I don't know.
Bobby Mitchell, Sam Mitchell wrestled for Buffalo.
That's right. Is it Sam Mitchell? Did he transfer
He's
to
another
Penn State?
Wisconsin kid.
Oh my goodness.
No, I think. I mean, and this is. I said maybe I'm biased, but I would love to see that. But I think Mitchell could go 57 and Haynes could go 65 because I do think Haynes is a little bit bigger than he is. That'd be ideal for me then, because then I don't have to have those guys in the same weight class and worry about that. So it'd be great. And then also Mitchell could take an Olympic red shirt. Keegan actually Keegan has both a regular red shirt and an Olympic red shirt also.
Yeah.
So does Haynes.
I don't think he's gonna take it though. So does Haynes.
Does Haynes have Olympic though?
No, Haynes is a regular red shirt.
Yeah, just a regular.
Yeah, we're just regular.
He's not a cadet or.
For now, though, right? I mean, he can earn himself an Olympic red shirt.
No.
Right?
I don't know if he
I
could.
don't think so. I think it has to be done.
He's
prior
not on
to-
the U23
Okay, yeah,
team.
time's run out. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, so he won't be able to do that. Facundo also has an Olympic red shirt.
Yes.
So they've got all
So
the
many
flexibility in the world
possibilities.
for those three. Whatever they want to do, they can do. But yeah, until we see otherwise, and we have a lot of indication that Levi's going 57 this year. We were there. I believe he's gonna be wrestling in the All-Star at 157. I believe that's the plan.
Oh, you got inside information you're not telling us about?
No.
Who's he wrestling at the All-Star?
Haynes could
Yes.
because he took second last year at NCAAs.
Oh, so if you're a top,
Could Olympic red shirt.
could Olympic red shirt?
He got Olympic red shirt.
Dang. So
Yes,
they
it
got
was top,
just
it was
make
top
you cool.
3
No,
at NCAAs last year.
so many shirts.
God, that is just, they got to. I'm not a big fan of all these Olympic red shirts, but that's just me.
Wait, so who's Haynes wrestling at? Who's Haynes wrestling at the All-Star?
So he has the red shirts available.
This is just between some friends here.
No, it's not. Nothing's.
No one's
just-
listening. No one is listening.
Christian, when will that get
I
announced?
won't Christian. Okay, on my word,
Soon.
I'll give you my word right now. If you tell me this, I won't tell anybody.
All right. I appreciate that. He's actually gonna be wrestling against Joe.
Who?
Joe.
Oh, you say Joe Mama.
Yeah. Hey, I almost got you the second time.
Christian, when will that get announced?
I don't know. I don't know what. The
Phoenix,
Because that's
September
coming up.
2nd.
What do you got? What, 5 weeks away, maybe?
Yeah, it's the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So soon.
So
Great
great
event.
to see that event.
Nothing's
you know,
official
Richard-
with anyone. Nothing's official with anyone. I just know he was approached about that weight class. I don't know if he's officially doing it. I don't know if anyone's officially doing it. We haven't announced
I know
it.
another match that was proposed that's not going to happen. That makes us all really sad.
Yeah, you don't want to
But
get
I
me
can't
started
talk
on
about
that one, Ben. Because that's
Which
just
one?
that. No, we're not. Literally not. We're not.
Yeah.
Because I'll
Get mad,
rant.
Christian.
Yeah.
Ben, did you
Rant.
wrestle in that event?
You know what? My senior year, Christian's going to love this. My senior year, my sophomore year, I wrestled. I lost to Pendleton, that son of a gun. My senior year, I told the NWCA the only way I'd wrestle is if they let me wrestle Johnny Hendricks and that I would make the weight class underneath me.
That's
They didn't
right.
make it happen. Didn't make it happen. 174 champ versus a 165 champ. Wouldn't that have been fun, Christian?
Wow, that would have been fun. Imagine the 165 champion wrestling the 174 champion. How cool that would be, and what an amazing thing
Be so cool.
that would be for the fans. And there's really nothing to lose because if you lose that match, it doesn't matter because you're not going the same weight class. Man, that's a brilliant idea. But you know what? The adults.
I was so pumped.
The adults always have other ideas.
I wanted to get him because he beat me in high school, so I wanted to get him back, and he never showed up for freestyle either, so I never got to get him back.
And you never got to fight him either, and that would have been crazy too.
That would have been awesome also. Damn it all. He's the guy that kind of fell off the face of earth because some of my guys, my athletes were. We were talking about a wrestling position, and I don't know if you remember, but Johnny Hendricks, he would do the thing where he would kind of go underneath you and then capture the elbow, and he was like almost impossible to score him from there. And I was just talking about like, hey, if someone's super comfortable, we're going to avoid that, although it may feel like a good position. We don't want it because they want it. And they were all like, who is that? And I'm like, you know, like, because he wasn't just a wrestling champion, he was also the UFC champion.
Yeah.
And these kids were,
The big rig.
This wasn't little kids, it was probably like 15 or 16-year-olds. They had no idea at all. He kind of fell off the face of the earth so hard.
Yeah, he did.
He's a
Well,
cop
where's
in
he at
Dallas,
these
I
days?
believe. I believe he's a cop in Dallas.
I thought Texas.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's what I thought.
Don't give that guy any
I
lip.
would not want to get punched by him.
Me neither.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I guess I don't either.
He was a lefty, right? Left hand? Hendricks?
I don't know.
I believe that's the case. I
Yes.
think you're right.
Okay.
Southpaw.
I've never been punched by him, so there's no way to know for sure. Okay. So we sort of did 165, the weight of Johnny Hendricks, interestingly. Are you going to add anything to the Keegan David conversation, or are you just going to coach speak anytime we bring up Keegan this year?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Keegan made the adjustments he needed to make. He got the job done. Yeah, and if more
do you
problems
think he's
come
gotten
up,
better
I
than
have
this
faith in his
offseason?
ability to solve it.
Keegan about to
What's
go
up?
win a world medal, too.
Yeah, Keegan's gonna wrestle in what is he like this week? I believe, right? Is it how soon? Is it?
It's like 10 days.
10 days.
This dude's
Are you
going
Sure,
there.
'Cause I feel like I talked to him like 4 days ago, and he said 10 days, like four days ago.
Well, that might be when he's leaving, but I don't think
Let me see.
it starts until Sunday or Monday, like next, not this
U20.
upcoming one, but the next.
Oh, the veterans. Man, Shane, we should get you in the vet. Oh yeah, 23 through 29 is when that is. So you are
Shane,
correct.
if I get UWW to add a 103 veterans weight class, will you make it? And wrestle?
Man, I'd have to cut some weight.
We can help. We'll put you in one of those bathtubs, and we'll get you down there. Might not be pretty.
I feel like we could have a good veterans round robin. You know, like because you guys about. You know, we could get Wrestling Nomad. We could get Shane Sparks. We could get.
Nomad
we
is
could get
small.
Gotta
Christian
throw
in
Bader
there.
in there.
Bader. Now this is a serious
Yeah.
round robin right here. That we're
Because
talking
Bader did the veterans, right? Didn't a couple
Yeah.
years back
about. Yeah, he won. He won the
veterans?
nationals. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh baby.
That's the best.
All right. I feel like this was the easiest and least contentious tiers ever because we had 1 and 2 together. We kicked a Legend out, so it's Amin, Hamidi, Caliendo, Ramirez, and then tier 3 below that.
Yeah.
People
Right?
in the chat asking if Facundo's the guy, can he figure it out and get on the podium this year?
I mean, he could, for sure could get on the podium. I think it's going to always be hard for him, you know. But you look at this weight class, he beat the number 3 ranked guy. He's in close matches with a lot of these guys. I mean, if a Nalezhnik or Ramirez, you know, Caleb Fish, those are the guys he's battling to place. For sure he can place, no doubt. He had a really solid year. He had a bad NCAAs for sure. Going 2 and out there, losing to Heller and Ramirez was pretty surprising at the time. And honestly, the end of his year was sort of rough because he also had the Bubba Wilson loss. But most of his season, he was solid. He had some good wins. He was competitive with guys. He beat Amin, close one to Kennedy, beat Harchla. That's a really solid resume going into Big Tens, and it's just not a good Big Tens, not a good NCAAs. And obviously, Ben's illustrated some of his areas of improvement. He's got to be able to score more points from his feet and generate offense more reliably. But even with that, even with those, you know, potential weaknesses, he's still right there with All-American caliber guys, beating some of them.
Yeah. Hey, I got a Johnny Hendricks update. Someone in the chat shared with us. Paul Youngs. Johnny Hendricks now appears to be Kevin Holland's wrestling coach in Dallas. And Johnny Hendricks actually said in the first sentence of this article, he said, I told everyone as soon as I was retired, I was going to fall off the face of the earth, which he did, to our point. So apparently he's working with Kevin Holland. I don't know that. That was the first I'd heard of that, but I guess it's true.
That's hysterical that you literally said he fell off the face of the earth, and Johnny Hendricks is like, yeah, that was my plan, verbatim.
For real, right?
Is he falling off the face of the earth gives me big undercover cop vibes. Could he be the first UFC champion that was also an undercover cop?
Well, he is a cop. I don't know what kind of cop he is, but he's a cop.
I'm hoping undercover.
I got a hunch he's not undercover.
I think he is.
He'd probably be too well known to be undercover.
He wears that hat, though. He's always got a hat on. He's a shapeshifter. The beard, the hat.
He's still rocking the beard. He had a
Shapeshifter.
great beard.
Yeah, shapeshifter.
Big old beard.
Yeah.
But the big beard would give him away because that's how everyone recognizes
Yeah,
him.
maybe. Yeah.
Askren Wrestling Academy kids don't know who he is. You think these local
It's
criminals
true,
are going to
they're
know who
kind
he
of
is?
into MMA also.
USADA gone from
Yeah.
UFC. Maybe he makes his return.
Oh,
Ouch, JD
wow.
For the IVs. For the IVs.
He had a hard time with the weight with the weight class.
I know. I think that was a big thing for him was IVs being banned.
Yeah, not being able to cut from 230 down to 170 in a week.
Yeah.
Messed
Not
up.
good.
All right, let's do some questions.
Oh man, that's
What do you say? Let's do this one. What was Ben's experience like playing disc golf with Bert Kreischer?
Oh man, you know what? I knew he was popular, but I like am kind of like holy moly. So many people ask me that. So a lot of people really like this guy. We actually didn't play disc. We threw one hole together, but we were at like the Discraft booth and we were signing autographs, and then we threw the first hole together, and then we did like we rode around the tournament and watched some the pro disc golfers play their rounds in like a gator type vehicle, and then we went to dinner together. So he was funny, really likes disc golf, and yeah, it was cool.
Gotcha.
Excuse my ignorance, guys. Who is this guy?
He is a stand-up comedian.
Oh, cool.
Bert Kreischer. Mm-hmm.
He's like in the
Yeah.
sort of the Rogan sphere of comedians. Okay. Great stories there, Ben. Next
Sorry,
question.
there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. How was playing disc golf with Bert Kreischer? We played disc golf and then we had dinner. All right.
Was he wearing a shirt?
No, we didn't. I said we didn't play disc golf.
We didn't play disc golf.
We
hole.
only threw
Just
one
one
hole.
hole.
We only threw one hole together, and then we went and watched the pros play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach, is it crazy to think that Nolf is a better matchup for Sidikoff than Dake? Yes.
What would make him think that?
I don't know. Because
I mean, I'd love to see the match because I love watching Jason Nolf wrestle. But am I willing to make that statement? No, I'm not.
I mean, Sidikoff kept Burroughs at bay offensively, primarily. For the majority of their matches, kept him off his legs. I don't think Jason would be able to generate. And then you think about Sidikoff's ability to finish on Dake. Well, then it would stand to reason he's going to have an easier time finishing on Jason. New Wave coach, next time elaborate why you think that. Because what position or
Winn-Dixie.
specifically which positions would he have an advantage?
Yeah, he's very creative and has a lot of weapons. But is he? Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel super strong about him being a better matchup at all.
Especially considering the way we've seen Dake beat Nolf. Sure, matchups make matches, but I don't know about it in this case. Cal Dake is so good that I just think there is right now another level.
Yeah.
And Sidikov is just above.
And he had a follow-up question. Also, who are the most candid college coaches to interview? And I thought about this. The two that come to mind for
Who
me.
actually tells the truth?
Just
No coach speak.
no coach speak. I would say Tom Ryan is pretty
Tom Ryan,
unfiltered, and I would say Kevin Dresser. There's no veneer of good or bad. They just tell you how they feel. I remember after Penn State thumped Virginia Tech when Coach Dresser was still there, and he was like very candid about certain wrestlers that just did not perform. He's like, yeah, we went out there and laid down, wrestled like we were scared, called out wrestlers by name. Like, that's pretty rare, and I'm not saying good or bad. I appreciate the candor always. But those are the two, in my experience, that have been the most candid.
One other one for me too, John Smith. A lot of
Yeah.
times he'll speak his mind
Oh yeah, he's
as
great.
well.
Yes, that's a
He
great
is
point, too.
So, yeah, those.
He
we're
knew
on the
nothing.
same page.
How many times did we watch the He Didn't Do Nothing? Who is he talking? Was that about Plot? He's like, I think it was
so,
Plot
yeah.
Mako.
Plot.
He's like, what are your thoughts on Plot? He didn't do nothing. That, man, we just kept saying he didn't do nothing forever. I need to rewatch that, candidly. That was incredible.
I mean, talking wrestling with John Smith, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Just doesn't.
I unfortunately haven't got to interview him very many times, so I guess that's probably why he didn't stick out to me.
Hey, I like this question.
Hit it.
And I would like to discuss it, and I have not listened, so I'm just reading the question here. And I actually don't know who Joey Gione is. Joey Gione was saying on the Athletor podcast that more wrestlers should skip their high school season. What are your thoughts? So without having more context, so hopefully I'm not taking them out of context, I hate the idea. There's just nowhere to compete. Like, who are you going to wrestle against? And then, a lot of these guys, the solution for them is to move to a Blair or Sam or someone like this who wrestles the other best people, which is a reasonable solution if you're, like, say, in a small town somewhere in Virginia or wherever. But as far as if they skip their season, then what is the suggestion? Like, what would you suggest they do, and who do they compete against?
Yeah. I was just going to say, and JD, you go, but I think for maybe it's such a small number of athletes where maybe this would be applicable for. For so many, skipping your high school season is just, I don't think, reasonable or helpful or worth the sacrifice of moving or going to the OTC for a year, etc.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the only time this maybe applies is to your Myers, Shapiros, your Levi Hayneses. Those guys have done it and then went into their college where they had already committed and trained with them full-time or, at the M2 training facility full-time and focused on Super 32 and world titles and or college opens. So
maybe for a few people,
can do
but
that.
Then you can also say, like, there's been a lot of other people obviously who stayed wherever they were training and just kind of did the same thing. What I also think about Valiant. Valiant is not allowed to compete in high school competitions during the year, and I know they hate it. And they have a lot of elite wrestlers, but it's like, going to college opens is hard. Even if your high school kids are good, the college opens are still really hard. There's not a ton of them. So I say no on this one. I would have to be. I've obviously thought about it, and I'd have to be convinced pretty strongly the other direction.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on maybe a kid, a very good high school wrestler, but we're still talking about maybe not even not in the national rankings, just good on the state level, going to maybe a high school that's across their city that is notoriously good, or if you live in a small rural town, to a high school that is good in the city or something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. I am anti. I feel like I have kids now, right? I feel like I own my kids for 18 years, and then they're probably gonna go somewhere and live somewhere else because they're adults. I want them for all 18 years. I don't want to ditch them after 13 or 14 years and say go somewhere else. So I'm anti kids moving away from parents. And I would say in the majority of cases, you're gonna be able to, and maybe it's gonna be a little bit of a drive, but find someone who you think is a really good wrestling coach, program, training partner within driving distance that you can access. I think it's pretty rare when you can't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but so I'm definitely okay with transferring to somewhere local that's a little better than wherever you're at.
Seamless transition to this question. How many workers at Flow would it take, Askren included, to beat up a silverback gorilla?
These questions are so dumb because none of us know the answer.
Hey, don't let me get a silverback's neck. That's all I'm saying.
That one. Two, you know what? You know what the actual answer to this is? It depends how fast we are. Because silverbacks are the fakest tough guys in the entire animal kingdom. Almost no evidence at all of them ever attacking a human. It's all bravado.
All hat, no cattle.
All hat, no cattle? Is that what it is? I'll say that.
Are you sure?
Wait, you've watched.
I don't think you're right on this one.
This is because you've watched Congo too many times. But silverbacks don't have lasers. Look it up. Look it up. John Danaher was talking about this. I was like, is that true? And then I look at it.
Now, are there instances where they do fight and then they get whooped by other animals? Because if they're all bravado and it works because no one tests them, it's just
no one's really messing with them. But I'm saying
that's
they
like
don't.
The whole point.
They don't want it. They don't want it.
They don't need to attack them, Christian. No, your point would be if they got attacked, to JD, if they got attacked and they got beat up, that would be a fake tough guy. If they're so tough that no one's messing with them, then that's a tough guy right there. Because you're so scared of messing with them that you ain't doing nothing.
They wrestle a weak schedule. Okay, they're not mixing it up with the most dangerous animals. You know, they live in areas away, and they don't mess with humans really. It's just true. They're cool and all, but I'm sorry, I hate.
They're not wrestling in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're not. This is not a Big Ten.
Oh my God!
The nation's premier
comes back to the Big Ten.
I got to tell you this, Christian. Yesterday I got like Colin Coward on.
Yeah.
And now because of the Big Ten with the expansion, on the bottom it says, basically, and I took a picture of it, but it said something about Big Ten football is the premier conference, and I thought, oh no, that's wrestling's the premier conference. Although football,
well, they have like 24 teams now. I mean, they have like half the college football teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, close. What is it? Yeah, they got a lot. 18, something like that, I think it'll be.
Big Ten's been hitting the transfer portal hard. They've been snagging up USC, UCLA, anyone they can get their hands on. Which seamlessly brings me to my what?
No, I got a question. This was a question I'm stealing from the chat. I don't believe it's in the questions here. Does Shane think that Rob Cole and Coleman Scott should have to sit out a year for their transfers?
No. But I think, and again, this stuff, I'd have to give it a ton more thought. But what do we say? If a coach leaves, then you get like X amount of time to transfer? Nope, right? That's fine.
I think Rob Cole's transferred twice now, Shane. We should make him sit out a year.
He's a serial transfer.
I was reasonable on this, guys. I backed up on this one, remember? I didn't dig my feet in on this transfer stuff.
Okay, next question.
Right.
Transfer oriented.
Before we move on, if the gorilla question interests you, you should watch Chimp Empire on Netflix.
Chimps are a different story. Chimps?
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with a chimp. All respect to the chimp family. I don't want any part of that, and nor does anyone at Flow. We're going to lose our fingers, our faces, and our you-know-whats. And I'm going to leave it at that. These are some bad boys. They're the bad boys. The chimps are what people think the gorillas are.
Well, because they're little and like funny looking, so you're more likely to be like, that's non-threatening to me.
You
and
just
then they take your
It's so crazy.
They take your soul.
The series on Netflix, they have borders like in the Congo, and they go and patrol borders.
Yeah.
Like on the edge, and they get in battles with other regions for over resources and stuff.
Oh, they're bad.
Very interesting stuff.
That's why, like, hey, when humans say, why do we need borders and why do we get in wars? And then I didn't see the one on chimps, but I saw the one on wolves and like the areas they patrol, and it's like so clearly outlined. It's like this group is here, this group is here, this group is here, and they don't go into each other's turf. It's like it's not a human thing; it's an animal thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay. Last one. Where did it go?
You guys should get some chimpanzees to be guards at Flow, like they guard the door.
Do we have some major security issue? You never know when they're going to turn on us. I don't trust chimpanzees.
It's wild. You do need, yeah.
I don't trust chimpanzees.
Vader comes from the chimpanzee family for sure.
Okay. The last question was who could get Penn State their toughest duel, and then they called Michigan transfer portal U, which
Michigan mercenaries.
Little dig, but it's ironic considering they're talking about Penn State, who is going to have Aaron Nagao, Bernie Truax, Mitchell Messenbrink, Greg Kirkfleet, Kurt McHenry. So, they're
Stop.
What? Stop what?
What if Kurt McHenry went to Penn State and beat the Michigan 125 in the duel, whoever it is? That would be a twist of fate right there, huh?
D'Agostino, that would be crazy.
This will be, we don't have time, it's now 9:30, but the Iowa duel will now actually be quite interesting with Penn State.
If AJ Jr.'s in the mix,
February 9th, second semester.
he got time. If he gets into school.
Gambling, then we're all good.
Michigan, it'll be interesting too, January 19th, but February 9th against Iowa, I would say, if they're at full strength, that's probably who's going to give Penn State their biggest test.
It's the only opportunity, in my opinion, where Penn State can taste anything resembling defeat. They're not going to lose any duels otherwise, and they're not going to lose in any tournaments. I feel pretty certain of that.
That'll be in Iowa City.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Get your tickets now, boys. Hey, appreciate you guys so much. Good to have Shane back. Best of
Great
luck
seeing
to
you guys.
Hope the Braves have a productive offseason, can address some of the holes in the lineup.
You're already counting them out.
They only have an all-star at every
Ouch, burn.
freaking position, Shane. So hopefully they get a
You
little
got to
talent.
pitch. You got to pitch. I mean, we'll see Spencer Strider tonight. I mean, we'll see. You win tonight. You get it back to Atlanta. You know, we'll see. They're down, but they're not out. They're down and dangerous. I will promise you this. Philadelphia is not comfortable right now. I'll promise you that.
They look pretty comfortable last night, Shane.
Yeah, they're not right now.
This is where we find out if the Braves are silverback gorillas or chimpanzees.
I'm not going to debate that. You're right.
They got to come out with that chimp energy.
Yes, they do. Big chimp energy. They need it tonight.
No one else
gotta
say
be a new
anything
song.
else. We're ending the
Guys,
show
we got
on
a
big
toy
chimp
man.
energy.
That's got to be something new we talk about on this show. When somebody has a big weekend, big chimp energy. That's got to be something new.
Just
Bring out
crazy.
If this doesn't
the
become your
BCE.
tagline in 2023-24, you
I
missing
like
out.
it.
That's your
Big
new
chimp
tagline.
energy. I love it.
Yeah. Just relentless. Do anything to win. That's what they need. Harness the chimpanzee down in Atlanta. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next Monday, right?
Monday.
Boom.
Baby.
Let's go. We'll have a lot to talk about then. Big chimp energy. Have a big chimp energy weekend, boys. We'll be back then. Thanks so much. A lot of coming out. I don't even know what I want to say other than have a great weekend. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, JD. Thank you to our producer, Amanda, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.